Hi guys, good evening everyone. Welcome to another episode of Resilient Roses. As always, thank you for joining us again. Today's topic, we are going to talk about closure. What is closure in a relationship, and can you move on without closure? So that's what we are going to talk about today, and let me just put it down in writing so that everybody will know the topic we are having today. We are talking about resilient women. Like I always say here, resilient roses are strong women. Strong, like I always say, does not mean these women have not passed through thick and thin. They have been through everything you can think. Resilient, like someone is strong, it doesn't mean they haven't seen anything. It doesn't mean life is rosy for them. As a matter of fact, resilient people generally are people who have been through a thorn in this life. They have been through it all. They have suffered. They have failed woefully several times. But what made them resilient is because they never give up. These people never give up. They keep falling, they keep getting up. They keep failing, they keep trying out. They just don't fail, and because they failed once, they decided to forget about anything. No, they don't do that. Colin, yeah, my lovely sister, yeah, that's an interesting topic actually. So when you hear that someone is resilient, no, these people deserve their flowers, because you know what it means for someone to keep failing and still trying, for someone to keep falling and still getting up. These are resilient people. Now we are going to bring in this particular topic into women. Now it does not stop our kings in the house. It doesn't stop our princes in the house to contribute to whatsoever they feel or they know about their families, like their mom, sisters, nieces, you name them, or even they themselves. I'm not limiting it in as much as it's women's topic, but please, all the kings in the house, you are highly welcome, because the one we treated some time ago, that should be about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago if I'm not mistaken, we had a king who believes in empowering his wife, and it doesn't make him less of a man. No, rather it made him a king and the head of his family. Because our men are always scared that whenever they let down their guards, that something is going to happen to them. That's what they believe in. But that's not it. That's not it. Okay? Now, in today's topic, we are talking about closure. Closure after breakup. I wrote it down there. I wrote it down here. Hold on. So let's talk about what is closure in a relationship. Now, closure after breakup. When we talk about what is closure in a relationship, okay, I wouldn't want to give out all the things I know about closure. I also want us, like we always do it, I'm still waiting on my co-host Victoria to come up, and also you guys, any of you that wants to come up, remember, any of you that wants to come up, please feel free to indicate. I will bring you up. I always say this, don't be afraid to come up, because it's an interactive session. We discuss this to empower each other. It's interactive and it's fun. Okay, it's very, very fun. So please indicate. I will bring you up, because I'm not going to force anybody to come up. Not everybody is prone to camera. So, but if you feel you can come up, please, you are highly welcome. Let's talk about closure in a relationship. In relationships, yeah, there are a lot of things that happens in relationship as both parties are still in it. Now, when something goes wrong that made them to quit or to have a breakup, the closure we are talking about is like permanently closing the door of the former relationship you have, whether marriage, whether a partner, whatsoever relationship you have with an opposite sex, whether it's advisable to close it completely and to be able to move on. I mentioned two things right here. Talk about what is closure. Closure means after everything that happened in your relationship, can you permanently close forget about that thing that happened and move on. Like you don't wish to revisit it again. You don't wish to revisit your pain, to deal with your pain. You don't even wish to revisit the memories of what transpired in the past. Do you wish to permanently close this and pretend like as if nothing happened? That's why I said, what is closure in a relationship? Now, the second one I mentioned is where I said, can you move on without closure? I know that a lot of people, some people can move on without closure. Some cannot move on without closure. Now, for those of us who cannot move on without closure, because I know and I've heard and I've seen some relationships that they will tell you, I can't move on without closure. I need to permanently close whatever that transpired in the past. I need to pretend like I never felt any pain. I don't even want to think about my past. I don't want to bring up my past. I don't want to deal with my past. I just want to move on. There are many people like that on this table. And if you notice, the people that are reasoning like this, because they have not dealt with that trauma, even after 10 years, even after 15 years, even after 20 years, that trauma is there. It's still there because they need to revisit the pain. They need to revisit the memory. They need to deal with all this pain for them to be able to move on, because you can't just pretend like nothing happened. No, my resilient women in the house, I am talking about this, more especially the female ones in the house. Women, we are good at doing this. You try to bottle it up. You try to pretend like nothing happened in that relationship. Even for those of us that something gravy happened to, we try to pretend like it never happened. Let me just move on and move on like as if nothing happened in the past. It is not good. That's the topic for today. I'm saying from my own point of view, but like I told you guys, let's have an interactive session. This is coming from me. My idea will be totally different from another person. Like, no, not move on without closure. They believe that they need to close it. They believe that they need to pretend like nothing happened to them for them to be able to move on. As a woman, if you try to live in denial of your past, that is why it keeps coming back. No matter how you try to pretend like as if nothing happened. When you see such women, things like, let me say a spark happens to them. I call it a spark because it triggers them. Like they act aggressively. You know why they are acting aggressively? Because they have not dealt with the past. Because they have not revisited the past. My dear, I'm so sorry. They just took light right now. At the moment I'm at home, they just took light. I'm going to use this light now. Sorry guys. I believe all of you can hear me. And sorry, I believe all of you can see me rather. Don't worry, they're going to bring back the lights soon. It doesn't take time actually. It doesn't really take time. So guys, I know all of you are hearing me. Let's talk about closure. It's very, very important. Many people are running away from this closure, and especially my fellow women, we run away from closure a lot. We don't like talking about it. We don't like discussing about it. And it always happens when something horrible happens to us in a relationship. Because whether we like it or not, many people are in abusive relationship. Many are in abusive relationship, and they are trying so hard to pretend like as if it never happened. They try so hard to live in denial. But if you keep trying to live in denial, that is when you will start having all these issues arising from time to time. So it will be nice we trash it out once and for all. Hi Victoria. Oh, my co-host is here, Victoria. Some women, majority, I'm sure of this, majority are afraid of moving on without a closure. Majority believes that they need to shut that door completely, pretend like nothing happened, pretend like they never felt any pain. But don't you think, Victoria, that thing, I call it living in denial. Living in denial, and that's why we always have this trigger. In some people, some of our resilient roses, when you see somebody acting aggressively over maybe a minor thing that, maybe something that reminded her of her past relationship. For me, I believe that is because she's yet to heal. She's not yet healed. And for you to heal, you need to open that, the closure you are talking about. You need to revisit the past. You need to deal with the past. Because if you don't deal with the past, there is no way you can move on. What do you have to say? What do you feel? Do you feel that they can move on? Or do you feel that they need to have a closure completely and move on with their life? Or do you think that they can move on even without a closure?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think it all
Very
depends on the
tough. That's why I say it's
circumstances.
very tough.
I think it
Very,
all
very
depends on the circumstances for the breakup. Because sometimes, do you really need closure? If somebody shows you who they are who they are. I mean, what are you trying to close? Again, like I said, it all depends on the circumstances. For me personally, closure has never worked in my favor at all. Never, ever, never. Not even on platonic relationship. Hold on.
Colin,
I'm
can we hear
okay.
you?
Yeah, can you hear me? I said good evening.
Colin. Good evening, my darling. Thank you for joining us as usual. Let me recognize other people online. Something. I see you. I know you are here with us. Evelyn, I know you are here. God bless all of you. So, Colin, let's go on with you. Now, I put out the topic here. It's a tough one, like Victoria said, and it's very, very delicate. But even at that, I want us to thrash it out. What do you think closure is? And do you think, or do you believe that one needs to have a closure before she can move on completely? Or do you think you can move on without a closure of what happens in the past?
Okay. So far, my own understanding about the word closure is coming to terms with the fact that something or a relationship has ended or is no longer working. And like I always say, everybody experiences relationship losses. Some people, it might be very confusing. For some people, it might be very traumatizing. For some people, it might be very complex. Um, it's all an individual something, just like what Miss Victoria was saying earlier. It all boils down to different people. I agree with her. Like I wanted to say the same thing. Personally, I don't believe in closure. Um, it doesn't equally work for me because sometimes you just want to like have a conversation with someone you were once in a relationship, in a situationship with, and then you have some questions, some doubts. You just want to clear. Okay.
Colin, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. I don't know if you can hear me, Mama. I'm still here. The last conversation with someone we are in a relationship with or a situation, because I believe the word closure is not just relationship based. It happens most times, even in friendship or anything, any situationship you have with someone, closure is needed. So I believe yes, sometimes you just want to have that last minute or last moment talk conversation with this person to understand why they acted the way they did, why they did what they did, why they treated you the way they treated you. And for some people, it turns out like, okay, it turns out it's how they wanted it to be. Like, for some people, they actually end up, for some people, they actually end up getting the answers. And for
Good evening,
some,
ma'am. Happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday,
they
my
don't.
darling. Yeah.
And for some people, they don't because
I apologize.
you might be trying to have
Yeah.
a conversation with somebody or someone you were once in a relationship with, and then they are acting all defensive. And then they are like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't do anything. No, you were the problem. I wasn't the problem. At this point in time, you even get more triggered than before. You even get more upset, more disappointed. So I agree with Miss Victoria. For me, it doesn't do any good. Once I say I'm done, I'm done. I move on. I don't want to hear whatever you want to say. I don't care. Whatever it is you have to say, you keep it for yourself. While in the relationship, I gave
Okay.
you a lot of time to discuss our difference, a lot of time to talk about what the issue was. And if during the relationship you could not talk to me or point out what the problem was, then you don't expect me to come back and ask you certain questions. Because I'm actually not the kind of person that move on from a relationship easily. I give people a lot of time. I will give you time to change. I will give you time to adjust. So closure for me is actually a waste of time. For some people, it's not. Since we are talking about women, for some people it's not. For some people, it's worth it, because sometimes if you're in a relationship where you've given in your all, you've put in your best, you've been in your best behavior, it's like where the people or the person was coming from and why they treated you the way they treated you. You need it so in order you can heal, so in order you can move on to the next relationship and not move on with the hurts or the pains from your recent relationship. Because, like you rightly said, some people, when they do not have this closure, when they get in
Yeah.
another relationship, being all withdrawn, they start being all defensive because they are still holding on the hurt from the past. They are still holding on from the mistakes
Yeah.
of their ex.
Yeah.
So it's very much necessary for you as a person, if you know yourself, you know that, oh, you're someone that you don't let go of things easily unless you've expressed it, then it's necessary for you to have a closure before you move on to something else. For me, it's a form of healing. It's a form of healing for some people. It helps them heal, it helps them move on, it helps them accept that, okay, this happened for this reason. Okay, it was not meant to be. Okay, we were never compatible. So it's necessary for some people, while for people like me and Miss Victoria, it's totally not necessary. So that's my whole contribution so far. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Please, can I say
Okay.
something? Good evening, ma'am. Can I say something?
Wow, thank you. Victoria, please let's Colin, thank you so much. We've had Colin's own. For her, she doesn't necessarily need a closure. She doesn't necessarily need a closure, because she cherishes her mental health. Let me put it like that. So let's hear from Victoria. Victoria, please, let's hear from you. Finish up.
Oh, I think Online Bible wanted to say something. She can say something and then I'll say. It's okay. She can say.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Online Bible. Okay,
Good evening.
Online Bible. All right, my darling, you're welcome. Can we hear you?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for having us here.
Welcome.
Now, when we talk about closure, just like Corinne said, there are different sides and
Yeah.
different sides to the coin. And one of the things that we must realize is that sometimes you find out that some people are not intentional with their own lives individually. And sometimes some people have some kind of upbringing. Sometimes in your life, you just want to do a recap and check on your, check on yourself. Let me borrow that word because people are from different family orientation. People are from different family backgrounds. So the way you're perceptive to some things might just be different from another person's own. So for me personally, sometimes when I do a review of those that are around me, the kind of friends that I have, and if I find out that your friendship is kind of, you are always the one reaching out, you are always the one doing this, you are always the one doing, at some point you just begin to withdraw back because those times and energy you invest in that particular friendship, you just find out that, man, I could use it to do another thing and, achieve what I want to achieve. So sometimes you need to understand that people are from different walks of life. There are some people that probably grew up on the street, so it's very difficult to love people. It's very difficult to, the kind of love they express is hard love. Do you understand? There are some that come from a home where you are showered with so much love, so when that kind of person, gives a lot of love, I'm wondering, why is this person not loving me back? But people come from different family people come from different family orientation, and you need to understand that, because the moment you're able to understand people and know, even from the onset of your relationship with this person, you can get to know if this thing is going to work or not. Let me not even say relationship, your friendship with this person, you will ask yourself, is this person the same? Does this person have the same orientation as I do? Does this person, at that point, before you even say you want to enter a relationship, but sometimes some of us are carried away with the euphoria of, oh, he likes me, he loves me, and forgetting those other things that will come back and haunt them. Do you understand? There are some families that are into education. They're into education. At the beginning of your name, you must have like 4 qualifications in front of it. But there are some families that, please, even if it's OND you have, just go to school and come out. Then you find out that you're in a relationship with this kind of person, and you're wondering, why is this person not giving so much and I'm giving, so much, and that can, bring a drift. So the crux of my own contribution tonight is that when you're about to approach a relationship, or you are in that phase of friendship with anybody, so you don't get into the relationship and find out that, oh my God, what have I been doing? This person is using me. I mean, that's what the person does. You understand? So we should knock ourselves off this euphoria. Oh, I'm in love. I love this person. I do this. I do that, and get down to reality, so that you don't have a blast from the past. And somebody said to me that prison breaks. We all know that prison breaks are not easy. So don't get to that point where you find yourself where you are hurt. You are at the beginning of any kind of friendship or relationship. You ask yourself questions. Who is this person? Is this person willing to give? Is this person on the same orientation as I am? Does this person believe what I believe? Because those are the things that cause relationship drift. When at some point you just find that, man, I'm not on the same level with this person, or what am I doing here? But if from the onset, from the point of friendship, you can settle that, you'll be able to avoid any kind of hurt or any kind of damage. But for me personally, once the relationship is over or the friendship is over, in fact, you move and there are 1,001 people in the world. You knock it off. Why? Because I didn't do my due diligence from the onset. But the moment I'm able to do, I find out, of course, some of us are here, we've had relationships that have lasted for years. Why? Because this person, you are on the same level. That's why relationship lasts. But the moment where you are in a relationship with somebody just 6 months, 3 months and stuff like that, you find out because somebody is in it for something, and that can cause a lot of damage. That's my little contribution, and I hope I was able to do some little justice to that. Thank you.
So much Online Bible. We are just in the same line with Colin. Both of you just said the same thing. But I want us to know, let's not forget that in relationships, sometimes, both parties can hide each other. Let's not forget that. Even though you must have dated, like I know of someone who has been in a relationship. The person dated this guy for 10 good years. What I mean 10 good years, they're more like sister and brother. But do you know when it comes to marriage, it still did not work out, because they started the lady, according to what I heard, started finding out some flaws and everything. And even when they broke up in that, I think 10th year or 11th year. So, even when you are in that relationship for so long a time, let's not forget the fact that we can pretend to be who we are not, even for 20 years. One can pretend for 20 years, but when the real thing starts, that's when the real you comes out. So what's going to happen to all those ones who have been there? Like you said, prison break has never been an easy thing, but a lot of people are still in that prison, are waiting for the prison break, which is not an easy thing. Now, for the topic we are treating today of the closure, one thing I know about closure, it can be good, it can be bad. Why I said it can be good is you can't pretend like nothing happened to you in the past. If you live in that life of denial, it will be seen. You'll be displaying it unknowingly. You'll be displaying everything. It's even people that will be noticing like there is something off about this person. They will notice, but you may not notice. I believe that is because you are trying to live in denial, like nothing happened to you. Then another place that I know it can be scary if care is not taken, some people will go back to have that discussion to be able to have a good closure, and they will end up falling back to that which happened to them. Now, this is scary because there's a reason when you have an ex, there's a reason why he or she is your ex. Let's not forget it. That reason is still there. It's still there, and it's not going anywhere forever. So there's a reason anybody is an ex. Now, for those of us that, people that believes in closure, the scary part of it, some people will, yeah, please, my darling, just hold on, okay? I know you are here, Austin. Some people will go back to that closure, which is the rightful thing to do. I'm not saying it's bad. They might want to end it up well. Then in trying to end it up well, many will fall back to the reason why they left in the first place. And they will fall back in love, and at the end of the day, they will still fall out in love. There will still, that thing is still there. Now, closure can be good, closure can be bad. Both are the same. That's why I said it's a very trickish thing. Now, some people, if you notice more especially, I don't know about European countries, to talk amicably, try to see what transpired in the past, but we're finding it difficult here to do. And that's why there's basbos here in Nigeria. We don't know anything closure, and we are living in basbos. What I mean by basbos, the man will be pursuing the woman will be pursuing the man, because we fail to sit and talk. Not everybody knows how to communicate. Communication is very important. Whether you are remaining in that place, in the relationship, whether you are living completely, it is still very important to communicate, but that's what we failed here. I need Victoria to speak because she was speaking when she left initially. Victoria, please, let's hear from you. And again, Sonia, I know you are here. Austin, I know you are here. Okay, just exercise some patience. Let's hear from Victoria.